Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and I am so excited that you are here today, and I will tell you why. Because today is December 28th, which means that we are literally 4 days away from the new year. And this is going to be a really exciting time for many of us because it means that we can let go of the past and start new. But for some of us who struggle with New Year's resolutions, it can be a time to reflect on 2015 and recognize the areas where we've really struggled to complete our goals. So I have some tips and some ideas which I think you might find helpful. Tip number 1 is take responsibility for your actions. Now I know what you may be thinking, is this really a tip? This should just be common sense. But what ends up happening is that we often blame other people for our actions and the situation and circumstances that we're in. And if we can acknowledge that everything that surrounds us, the lifestyle that we're living, is a result of our actions, our behaviors, and our choices, we can recognize that we can make brand new choices to create a whole different lifestyle. And that can be the most empowering thing ever. Tip number 2, set clear and realistic goals. Now, I am so guilty of this because I often set goals that are just way too big, way too complex, no end dates, and they're very vague. And what ends up happening is that halfway through, I lose my motivation, and then I look back and I'm just like, what happened to my goals? I've accomplished nothing. So something that can be extremely helpful is to be very clear. What is it that you want to do? Do you want to lose 20 pounds by the end of August? Are you trying to travel to Holland by the end of June? Do you want to save $500 by the end of July? What is your goal? Be clear and be concise. And in regards to that, something that can be extremely helpful as well is to set smaller goals. Set weekly goals and monthly goals. And be realistic. If you know that it's impossible for you to save $200 by the end of June, based on your income, based on your circumstances, based on your bills, don't set that as a goal. Be a little more realistic. Tip number 3, use visualization and imagery techniques. Now, this is really important and it can be extremely helpful in setting and following through with goals because they've actually done research on this and they found that the brain does not have the ability to determine the differences between what is going on in actual reality and what you are thinking about. Which means that we can use mental rehearsal to practice a task over and over and over and make actual progress on that task. So we can think about playing some chords on the keyboard and make actual progress just based on thinking about it over and over and over and over again. So, knowing this is extremely important because you can visualize yourself as if you've accomplished your goals. And what ends up happening is that you begin to live a life as if somebody who's accomplished your goals. You begin to look at new choices and see new opportunities and meet new people who can be helpful based on what your goal is. Tip number 4, become the CEO of your company. Now, what do I mean by this? This is a tip that I've actually used in the past and it can be extremely helpful, which is think of your goal setting as a goal which is part of a company that you are the CEO of. Think about the people that you need to hire and think about the people that you need to fire. So those who you need to hire can be the friends, acquaintances, friends of friends, family members who have skill and knowledge in the area that you'd like to progress. So maybe that friend who is a fitness guru, or that friend who works in finances and can help you create a budget, or that friend who's traveled, to 5 different countries and loves to travel and can give you some insight. Hire those people on your team. Let them know what you're doing. And even, and maybe you can even barter and help them out with whatever your skill set is. Now, counter to that is the whole idea that you may need to fire certain people. So the downers, the people who are bringing you down, the people who don't believe that you can accomplish your goal, the people who just are negative and make negative comments all the time. Maybe you need to take a break. Let them go for a while or permanently so that you can focus on you and stay positive during your goal setting season. In addition to this, letting go of those beliefs within your system that no longer serve a purpose. So the beliefs that we've acquired over the years based on comments people have made that we've internalized and believe about ourselves, that no longer serves a purpose. Let them go as well. Tip number 5 is use a motivational tool. Sometimes we need tools in our toolkit that we can pull out those moments when we are really struggling with motivation. Some of us are really good at motivating ourselves, but some of us really struggle with that. So I have 3 tools that I found helpful and useful in the past. The first one is using a chart, a progress chart that you can put up on the wall and you can look at on a daily basis. This can be extremely helpful for those of you who need that visual cue. Another one is using an accountability buddy. So you know that friend who's always telling you the truth, telling it like it is, and sometimes you just don't want to be around them because you know there is no holding back. Hire that friend and let them know what your goal is. Let them know that sometimes you need the truth and you need that kick in the butt so that they can help you get motivated. And the last tool is, taking those opportunities when you do make progress to reward yourself by putting some money in the bank, possibly setting aside a bank account that's just for this goal setting. And, every month you can put a certain amount of money as a result of a reward for you accomplishing your goals. And what ends up happening is that over the course of the scheduled end date for your goal, you've accumulated a certain amount of money that you can use as a larger reward or use towards your goal. And tip number 6, and the final tip, is reward yourself. Now this kind of goes along with tip number 5, because if you are rewarding yourself, let's say $50 a month, $100 a month for making that monthly progress, what ends up happening is that at the end date of your goal, you have a cumulative amount that you can utilize towards those travel expenses to reward yourself getting a new haircut or getting a new wardrobe with your new body that you've just accomplished as a result of your fitness goal. Or, you've been trying to save money, it's additional money that you can add to the savings account. So reward yourself, pat yourself on the back, and look back at 2016 and recognize and realize that you've accomplished a whole lot more than you did in 2015. Thank you for your interest. I hope this has been helpful, and take care.